these players are held hostages by their teams, and unleashing them could potentially catapult a contender to the next level. Bojan Bogdanovic is averaging 20 points per game on 47% from the field and 41.5% from downtown. That's incredible efficiency. But he's stuck on the worst team in the league, going absolutely nowhere. Teams like Miami, the Kings, or Golden State are desperate for an offensive boost, and Bogdanovic would be a great addition to one of these teams.
Bogey looking for a little momentum. He's got Allen on him now. Step back three. Bojan Bogdanovic.
We know there's no chance that the Warriors don't make a move at the trade deadline. They have been horrific this season outside of Steph Curry, who's been carrying them this entire time, and the recent surge of Jonathan Kuminga, who confronted Steve Kerr, cut his hair, and all of a sudden became unstoppable.
Look at it. Kuminga. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say 9 for 9. He has risen to the occasion.
A move for Bogdanovic would be hard for them to pull off financially, but boy, do they need a guy like him to help out with scoring. Next, here's a guy who would perfectly fit in with any contender. Alex Caruso is one of the absolute best perimeter defenders in the league.
Bradley Beal again making his Phoenix debut. Out there with Allen, Bates Diop, Eubanks, and Watanabe. It's Caruso! Saved it to Carter, what a play!
Plus, he doesn't need plays ran for him on offense. Alex moves great without the ball and is a terrific team player. And the defensive struggles for the Bucks have been well documented this season. The entire debacle with Adrian Griffin and now the equally bad start with Doc Rivers. The Bucks are 19th on defense, and they're not winning the title if things stay the same. But adding a phenomenal defender who, by the way, is shooting 40% from the three-point line, now that sounds interesting. But trading away Caruso would mean that Chicago is headed for a rebuild, which means that they'll ask for some draft picks, and Milwaukee doesn't have a nice offer, so they would need to trade away another guy like Beasley or Connaughton and involve a third team to make this happen. Next, we got one of the best backup point guards in the league in Tyus Jones, who is a starter this season in Washington, but the Wizards are a hot mess. And also, Jones is not really a starting level point guard, so he would be better off helping a stronger team off the bench. And a perfect opportunity for that could be my New York Knicks. They've been on a tear ever since the Anunoby trade, but it's become apparent that Miles McBride running the second unit is just a band-aid until a better and more permanent solution comes. McBride is not even a pure point, he's more of a combo defensive guard, so whenever Brunson is on the bench, the offensive drop-off is evident. Tyus Jones would be a perfect upgrade for this team. A steady point guard who's extremely efficient both with his shooting as well as handling the ball. Jones has been leading the league for the past few seasons in assist to turnover ratio, and he's at the top yet again with a ratio of 7. This means for every turnover that Tyus commits, he gets 7 assists, which is crazy efficient.
You really watching
I know my stuff, man.
Oh, good feed inside. Tyus Jones, the coup.
The Knicks have been spectacular lately, but in order to really go confidently head-to-head against the top teams in the East, they need to make another move at the deadline, and this might be it. On the topic of point guards, 2 more guys to keep an eye on at the deadline are Dennis Schroeder and Malcolm Brogdon. The Raptors eventually decided to reset and go young, so trading away Schroeder to a playoff team in return for a pick would be a win-win situation. This is especially the case for the Blazers, who are obviously rebuilding with the young guys on the roster, and we've all kind of expected them to trade away Brogdon for some future assets ever since they got him in the Boston trade. There will be some offers at the deadline, and Phoenix could be one of those teams as they're in a desperate need for a point guard. Starting PG, backup PG, anything. They've been trying to make things work with Booker handling the ball, then Beal being the hybrid point guard, but I don't think that this is the winning formula for them, and the standings are showing exactly that. Another team that's desperate for a change is of course the Lakers. They need a bunch of upgrades, but 3-point shooting has to be at the top of the list. They are 28th in the league in 3-point makes. That is 3rd worst. Add in the fact that they are just 15th in 3-point percentage, and you see how desperate they are for outside shooting. The Lakers were rumored to go after DeJounte Murray, but to me, his teammate Bojan Bogdanovic would be a much better fit in LA.
Rebound Capella, back to Bogey.
Yes. Can we get that?
Bingo.
17 points off the bench this season on 37% from downtown, which I'm confident that the percentage could go way up just from playing alongside LeBron and AD and getting excellent looks. The Hawks are clearly going nowhere, being stuck at the bottom of the play-in, but trading away Bogey could mean that they're blowing this team up, and honestly, I don't think that they're ready to do that yet. Now, I gotta mention possibly the most interesting team for me, that is the Brooklyn Nets. And no, I'm not talking about them acquiring pieces, they're not even in the play-in. I'm looking at the Nets because they have a bunch of interesting players who could really help some teams. We see that as a collective, they're not good enough to form a competitive team, but individually, Cam Johnson is a great boost at 14 points per game on 40% from downtown. Cam Thomas is an instant offense type of guy and he can get blistering hot very quickly. Dorian Finney-Smith is a nice 3-and-D type of player. Lonnie Walker and Spencer Dinwiddie can come in for teams that are lacking depth. And of course, Mikal Bridges, a great two-way player who I don't see being moved, but if Brooklyn decides to rebuild and blow it up, he could really be the X factor in the playoffs. There are a lot of hostage players that could do great things on another team, and there are a lot of teams needing some help for the postseason. I still believe that the Denver Nuggets cannot allow themselves to stand pat at the deadline, and they have to make a move to improve the depth. What are the Lakers going to do now that the clock started ticking? And how will the Bucks get out of this mess that they're in right now? For Milwaukee, it all started with Adrian Griffin, and I broke down the sequence of events that led to his firing. You gotta check out this video right here. Talk to you in the next one. Peace out.